It was a regular Thursday afternoon, or at least that's what I thought. I'm Dan, 31, and my wife, Rachel, is 29. We've been married for 5 years, and things were, well, they were good. Maybe not perfect, but good enough. Like any married couple, we had our ups and downs, but we understood each other. Or at least, I thought I did. Rachel had been planning this girl's trip for months. A weekend getaway with her friends to some beach resort. I didn't think much of it. She deserved the break, right? I had my own stuff going on with work, and we both needed space from the grind. No big deal. Plus, I knew she'd be back refreshed, and things would go back to normal. Or so I hoped. Fast forward to Sunday night. The clock's ticking down to the end of the weekend. I'm sitting there, scrolling through my phone, just passing time, waiting for her to walk through the door. I couldn't help but picture her laughing with her friends, catching up, letting loose a bit. After all, she's always been the life of the party, so I just imagine that's how it went. The door opens, and there she is. She looks different. I mean, not in a huge way, but something's off. Her smile is there, but it's tighter than usual, like she's holding something back. And that's when I felt it, the shift. The vibe in the room just felt heavy. "Hey, babe," Rachel says with that nervous excitement, but there's something in her eyes that I can't quite place. She moves to give me a hug, but there's an awkwardness in it. She pulls back a little too quickly. Normally, we'd stand there, talking for a bit, but this time, she starts unpacking in a rush, almost like she's avoiding eye contact. "Everything all right?" I ask, trying to make it sound casual, but my gut's already telling me there's something more to this. She gives me a quick smile. "Yeah, everything's fine. Just tired. It was a long weekend." But her tone? It doesn't add up with her words. Something's missing. I don't push it, though. Maybe I should've, but in the moment, I just chalk it up to travel exhaustion. We sit down to have dinner together, but it's not the same. The conversation feels offbeat. I keep trying to spark some normal chat, but she's distracted, her mind elsewhere. And trust me, I know when my wife is hiding something, this wasn't just a case of her being tired from the trip. This was something else. After dinner, we sit on the couch to unwind. I put on a movie we both wanted to watch, but she's not really paying attention. Her phone keeps buzzing. And every time it does, I catch her glance at it, then quickly look away, like she's hiding something from me. Now, this is where I should have asked the obvious questions. But I didn't. I let it slide, for a while. I mean, I didn't want to overthink things. Maybe it was all just in my head, right? But then came the moment that completely shattered everything. The next day, I'm scrolling through her Instagram, just passing time before I head out. And that's when I see it. A post from one of her friends. A photo of Rachel, laughing, having a blast at the resort with the caption, "Best girls trip ever, can't wait to do it again." But here's the thing, she's standing next to a guy. Not just any guy, but someone I've never seen before. And Rachel? She's got that smile. The one that only comes out when she's enjoying herself way too much. And as I look closer, I notice the way they're standing next to each other, how she's leaning in just a little too close, and how he's got his hand just a tad too comfortably resting on her shoulder. I don't know why, but that image hits me like a ton of bricks. I don't know if it's the guy's closeness, the vibe I get from the whole thing, or just the fact that Rachel didn't mention him once in the conversations we had since she got back. But something in my gut tells me this is the beginning of something I can't ignore anymore. So, I do what any guy would do in my position, I get a little more curious. I start looking at her messages. Yeah, I know, I'm not proud of it, but I had to know. I had to find out what was going on. And that's when I find it. There's a message from this guy. One that she didn't mention, didn't tell me about. And let's just say it's not the kind of message a married woman should be sending to someone she doesn't know that well. My heart drops to my stomach, and I suddenly feel like I'm standing on the edge of something much bigger than I can handle. That's when it hits me, Rachel's been hiding something. And this isn't just a harmless little secret. This is the start of a storm I never saw coming. And now? Well, let's just say I'm about to make her live with the consequences. Okay, so I've got the picture now. The whole thing's a mess, and I'm standing right in the middle of it, trying to piece things together like a jigsaw puzzle I didn't sign up for. I can't shake the feeling that something's seriously off. That gut feeling has been gnawing at me since Rachel walked through the door, but now that I've seen that Instagram post and discovered those messages, I'm spiraling. I don't even know who I am anymore. Who the hell is this guy? What the hell is my wife really doing while I'm not around? I want to confront her. I'm ready, damn it. I feel this storm building up inside of me, this rage, this hurt, and I want to scream, to throw it all in her face. What's going on, Rachel? I want to ask. Who's this guy? Why didn't you tell me about him? But here's the thing. I know if I just dive in, if I attack her with all of this at once, it's going to turn into a shit show. I'm not stupid. I've been married long enough to know how these things go. She's going to deny it, maybe even cry a little, tell me I'm overreacting. That it's nothing. She'll call me paranoid. And I'm not ready to just hand her that kind of out. So, I bide my time. I wait. But every second feels like a ticking clock. My patience is running thin, and the more I sit with this, the harder it gets to pretend that everything is fine. Days go by, and the tension between us just grows. Rachel's acting like everything's normal, but I can tell. I can feel it. Every time we talk, it's like we're speaking a different language. The distance is obvious, but it's not just the physical distance, there's something deeper there, something emotional. It's like she's closed herself off from me, and I can't reach her anymore. I don't even know who she is when she's not around. And then, she does it. One evening, I get a call from one of her friends. Yeah, the one from the trip. She's been talking to me like we're still on good terms, but this time, there's a weirdness to her voice. I can't put my finger on it, but it's like she's trying to sound casual, too casual. I just wanted to check in, she says, make sure everything's cool with you and Rachel. You know, after the trip. I swear, the way she says it makes my blood run cold. It's like she knows something's up, something I don't know, and she's just sitting there, dangling it in front of me. I ask her, trying to sound chill, what do you mean? There's a pause on the other end of the line, a long, uncomfortable one. She stammers for a second, then, oh, I'm just saying, you know, sometimes, people get a little too wild on trips, that's all. Now I'm really starting to get freaked out. I thank her and hang up quickly, but my mind is racing. What the hell does she know? What did Rachel do? My wife is hiding something, and now our friends are part of it, too? This whole thing is spinning out of control. I need answers. I can't keep pretending that everything's fine. So, I decide it's time to confront her. The next day, I finally pull her aside, and I can barely get the words out without feeling like I'm going to lose it. Rachel, I say, trying to sound calm, but my voice is shaking. I need to know what happened on that trip. You need to tell me. Who's this guy? Why didn't you mention him? Why is your friend acting so weird when I ask about it? I watch her face go pale. Her eyes shift, and I can see it, the guilt. It's like a shadow in her expression, and it hits me harder than I expect. She doesn't say anything at first, and that silence? It's deafening. Dan, it's not what you think, she finally stammers, but I can tell she's scrambling for words. I press her. I need the truth. Then what is it? What is it, Rachel? She starts to explain, but the more she talks, the more it doesn't add up. She tells me about how he's an old friend from college. But why would she never mention him? Why did she keep him a secret? And why is she acting so defensive all of a sudden? The words that spill from her mouth sound rehearsed, like she's trying to convince both of us that everything is fine. But I don't buy it. I can see through the cracks in her story. The more she talks, the more I realize she's trying to cover something up. I want to blow up right there, to yell at her and demand answers, but something holds me back. Maybe it's because I know, deep down, this isn't just about one guy. This is bigger than that. This is about trust. This is about everything we've built together, and it's all coming undone in front of me. And in that moment, I make a decision. I'm not just going to let her slide out of this. I'm not going to pretend like I don't know something's wrong. I'm going to make her face the consequences of her actions. It's not going to be easy, and I don't know where this is going to take me, but I'm done letting this fester. So, here we are. Staring at each other across the kitchen table, the weight of everything unspoken hanging between us. And I know, for better or worse, this is only the beginning. This whole thing, it's spiraling. I thought I had a handle on it, you know? I thought, if I just kept my cool, waited it out, then Rachel would come clean. But now, I'm starting to feel like I'm losing control. I don't know where the line is anymore. The one between wanting the truth and wanting to just walk away. It's been a few days since I confronted her, and things are awkward, to put it mildly. Rachel's been walking around like she's on eggshells, acting like she doesn't know how to look at me anymore. And I get it, I've been distant. I'm cold. I barely look at her, let alone talk to her, and I know it's killing her. But honestly, I don't even care. Every time I look at her, all I see is that smile in that Instagram picture. And that gut feeling, the one I had the moment she walked back through that door, it's still there, stronger than ever. We barely speak anymore. It's like we're two strangers in our own house, passing by each other, not daring to ask the question that's hanging in the air. There's this thick silence, and I swear, it's suffocating me. I want to scream. I want to throw everything in her face and demand answers. But then there's this voice in my head, my gut, telling me to keep my distance. That now, more than ever, I need to keep my emotions in check. But it's hard. I'm supposed to trust her, right? I mean, she's my wife. We've been together for years. But the more I think about it, the more I question everything. How many times did she tell me she was just going out with the girls? How many times did she smile at me, kiss me goodnight, only to be texting some guy I've never heard of? Was I always this blind? Or was I just too damn trusting? I can't stand it anymore. I've spent enough time waiting for her to crack, but now it's time for me to take control. I've got to stop being passive about this. If she's not going to come clean, then it's on me to make her. So, I do the thing I promised myself I wouldn't do. I start digging. I start checking everything. Her phone, her laptop, her social media. I go through her messages again, looking for anything I might have missed. And, sure enough, I find something else. It's not a huge revelation, it's subtle, almost too small to notice if you weren't looking for it. But it's there. A message between her and that guy. It's not about anything physical, there's no I miss you or can't wait to see you again or anything like that. But there's something else. Something that's worse than anything I could have imagined. They're talking about me. Talking about our marriage. Rachel's saying things to him that she's never said to me. It's not exactly terrible, but the tone? The intimacy and the way she talks about me behind my back? It's like I'm just some character in the story of her life, not even the leading man. And that's when it hits me. I'm not just hurt because she might have feelings for another guy. I'm hurt because she's emotionally checked out. She's been confiding in him in ways she never did with me. She's been looking for validation somewhere else. She's been searching for something, and I wasn't enough to fill that void. I let that sink in for a while. It burns, sure. It cuts deeper than I thought it would. But I'm not just going to sit here feeling sorry for myself. No way. The next day, I make my move. I'm tired of the silence, tired of feeling like I'm on the edge of some cliff, about to fall off any second. It's time for Rachel to face the music. So, I pull her aside in the living room. My heart's pounding in my chest. My hands are shaking, but I don't let her see that. I've got a plan, and I'm sticking to it. Rachel, I start, my voice colder than I thought it would be. We need to talk. She freezes, her face going pale. I don't care. I'm done pretending. I've been going through your stuff, I admit, looking her straight in the eyes. She flinches, but I don't give her the chance to speak. And I found something. A message. Between you and him. Her eyes widen, but she doesn't speak. She's frozen, like she's trying to figure out what to say. But I'm not giving her the chance to make excuses. Why didn't you tell me about him? I ask, my voice starting to break. I don't want it to, but it does. This isn't just about her and this guy anymore. It's about everything we've built, everything I thought was solid. She opens her mouth, but the words don't come out at first. Dan, she starts, her voice shaking. No, I cut her off. Don't. Just don't. I've heard enough. I pace back and forth, not giving her the time to explain. I need to say what's been on my mind, the anger, the disappointment, everything I've been holding in. I trusted you, I growl. I gave you everything. And you've been lying to me this whole time. How long has this been going on, Rachel? How long were you going behind my back, hiding things? She's crying now, and it stings to see her like that. But I can't stop. I can't just pretend anymore. I can't pretend that everything's okay when she's been keeping secrets from me, when she's been emotionally withdrawing from me. I stop pacing and look at her. The tears are streaming down her face, and I can't help but feel a little sorry for her. But I can't feel sorry for her right now. Not until she owns up to what she's done. This doesn't end here, I say, my voice low. You've got to live with the consequences of this. You need to show me that you're really sorry for what you've done. She nods, but I can see the uncertainty in her eyes. She doesn't know how to fix this. She doesn't even know where to begin. And neither do I. It feels like everything's hanging by a thread now. The tension's unbearable, like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff, and with every word Rachel says, I'm just waiting for her to push me over. It's like I'm trapped inside this nightmare that I can't escape from, and no matter how hard I try, there's no easy way out. She's crying harder now, her face a mix of guilt and disbelief. But there's something else in her eyes too. Something I didn't expect. It's the same look she gave me when we first met, the look that made me fall in love with her. But now, it's different. It's not the love I once knew. This is desperation. And I'm not sure if I can handle it. Dan, please. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, she says, voice shaking. She steps forward, her hands trembling as she reaches for me. But I pull away. I can't let her get close, not now. Not after everything. I keep telling myself that I should have seen it coming. That I should have trusted my gut the minute I saw that photo with the guy. But I didn't. I ignored the warning signs, the cracks in the foundation of everything we'd built. And now, it feels like it's all falling apart, and I'm powerless to stop it. I don't know what to say, she continues, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know what I was thinking. I never wanted to hurt you. You're everything to me, Dan. Please, don't walk away. Hearing her say that she didn't want to hurt me, rips me up inside. I thought I had all the answers. I thought I knew exactly what I was going to do, what I was going to say. But now, I'm not so sure anymore. Part of me wants to forgive her, to believe that maybe this is just a mistake. But another part of me is screaming, telling me that I can't just let her off the hook like this. I can't go back to pretending everything's fine when it's clearly not. So, what? I ask, trying to keep the anger out of my voice. You think a couple of tears are going to fix this? You think I'm just going to forget everything? She flinches, and for a second, I feel a pang of guilt. I shouldn't be so cold. But the hurt's too deep. It's hard to separate the person I thought she was from the one standing in front of me now. How do you come back from that? How do you rebuild something when it feels like it's been shattered beyond repair? Rachel looks at me, and I see it, the uncertainty. She doesn't know what I'm going to do next, and that's exactly how I want it. She needs to feel that. She needs to understand that this isn't something she can just apologize for and expect to make it go away. I'm not the guy who's going to let her sweep this under the rug. I don't know what I want, Rachel, I say, voice barely above a growl. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with you anymore. She takes another step toward me, her eyes pleading, but I don't move. The distance between us feels like miles now, and I don't know if it's even possible to close it. You want the truth? I continue, my words starting to gain momentum. Here's the truth, I feel like an idiot. I feel like I've been living in some fairy tale, thinking everything was fine when all along, you were hiding this from me. And I don't know if I can get over that. I don't know if I can trust you anymore. Her face falls, and for a moment, I think she might collapse right there. But she doesn't. She stands there, tears streaming down her face, and it's almost like she's waiting for me to reach out to her. But I can't. Not now. Not when everything feels so raw. You've got to prove to me that this matters, I say, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. You can't just walk back in here and expect everything to be okay. It's going to take more than that. I can see the realization hit her, the weight of my words sinking in. She knows what I'm saying. She knows this isn't just about the guy anymore. It's about trust. It's about everything we've built together, and everything she's been willing to risk. I'll do whatever it takes, she says, her voice barely a whisper. I'll do anything to make this right, Dan. Just, please don't give up on me. Don't give up on us. The desperation in her voice catches me off guard. I can see the fear in her eyes now, the fear of losing me, the fear of what she's done. It's the kind of fear that makes your stomach drop. But it's also the kind of fear that makes you wonder if maybe, just maybe, she realizes how much she's hurt me. For a second, I almost believe her. Almost. But then I remember the messages. The way she looked at me when she came back from the trip. The way she's been hiding things from me, from the very beginning. And that's why I realize, she's not just asking for forgiveness. She's asking for a second chance. And I don't know if I can give that to her. You've got a long way to go, Rachel, I say, the words cold and final. I don't know if you can fix this. I don't know if I can ever trust you again. But if you want to try, then show me. Show me that you're willing to fight for this. Show me that you want us. She nods, her tears falling harder now, but there's a quiet resolve in her expression that wasn't there before. She's made her choice, and now, it's up to her to prove that she's not just sorry, but that she's willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild what we've lost. And for the first time in days, I feel a flicker of hope. maybe this is the beginning of something new. Maybe. You know, when you hit that point, when you realize something's broken, and you don't know if it can be fixed, it feels like the weight of the world's on your shoulders. But here's the thing, it's not about the weight anymore. It's about what you're going to do with it. What choices you make when the chips are down. Rachel's been working hard, trying to show me that she's serious. It's been weeks now. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of conversations where she's opened up in ways I didn't think were possible. And honestly, it's a damn struggle. Trust isn't something you just hand out like it's candy, and I've had my fair share of nights lying awake, wondering if this was the right decision. If I could ever trust her again. If we could ever be the same. But here's the thing, sometimes, you've got to give a little. Sometimes, you've got to step back and ask yourself, can people change? Can they grow from their mistakes? Or is it all just a bunch of empty words? I'll be honest. I didn't know. I didn't have an answer. But one thing I was sure of, I wasn't just going to pretend everything was fine. And I sure as hell wasn't going to let Rachel walk back into my life like she didn't break something that took us both years to build. So, we've been taking it slow. One day at a time, one conversation at a time. Rachel's doing the work, real work, and I'll give her that. She's not just apologizing and thinking it's over. No, she's showing me that she's committed. And that's the part that messes with my head. When she's sitting there, telling me how she's been going to therapy, how she's been talking about us with her friends, not just the fun stuff, but the hard stuff, it's like a part of me is waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like any second now, she'll turn back into the person I was afraid of. The one who kept things from me, who hid behind smiles and excuses. But she hasn't. And that messes with my head too. I've been watching her. I've been paying attention to how she handles things now. And I'll be real with you, I didn't expect her to change this much. I didn't expect her to dig into herself the way she has. I don't know if it's enough to fix everything, but it's something. And that's all I've got for now. There are days when I still look at her and wonder if I'm making a mistake. There are moments when the past haunts me, when I hear her laugh and think, is this real? Or is it just a mask? And then, there are days when she holds me like she knows how close she was to losing me, and I get this feeling, this deep, almost painful certainty, that maybe, just maybe, we can move forward. But it's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. She can't just show me she's sorry, and I can't just pretend to forget. The wounds are still there, deep down. They've left marks on us both. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just part of the process. Life doesn't hand you perfect answers. It doesn't let you just fix things by snapping your fingers. Sometimes, the answers come over time. Sometimes, they don't come at all. It's been weeks, and I'll be honest, I still don't know where this is going. I still don't know if we'll make it. I don't know if our marriage will survive this, or if this is the beginning of something new for us, something better, or maybe just something different. But I do know one thing, it's my decision now. And Rachel? She knows it too. So we keep going. We talk. We fight. We laugh, sometimes. But we're working on it. Every single day, we're working on it. And that, right there, that's what matters. Not some fairy tale ending where everything's perfect, but the messy, hard work of trying. That's all I can ask for. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, that's enough.